Hello, welcome friends. My name is Avinash Gorakshakar, and I welcome all of you to another interesting episode of Corporate Face-to-Face series. As all of you are aware, in these episodes, we introduce to you emerging companies from emerging sectors, and we make it a point to talk to the promoters and the top managements of such companies, so that all of us can understand these companies in a much better way. We can get to know what is their business model, what is their growth aspiration, and we get a lot of genuine information which investors can, use for taking a conscious investment call. And friends, today we are going to talk about a company which is already listed on the capital market. The company we are going to talk today is called Prime Fresh Foods Limited, Prime Fresh Limited. And we have the founder and whole-time director, Mr. Hiren Gelani. Hirenji, it's a pleasure for me to welcome you to the show. In fact, Hirenji is a very well veteran in the industry. He's got more than 25 years of experience in the capital market, plus identifying new business opportunities. And this company was started by him. तो हिरेन जी थोड़ा सा अगर पहला सवाल मैं आपको पूछूं तो मेरे को बताइए कि सर ये कंपनी चालू करने में एक्चुअली क्या सोच थी व्हाट वाज द रीजन यू स्टार्टेड दिस कंपनी एंड व्हाट वाज द इनिशियल बिजनेस जर्नी लाइक एंड currently what is the positioning of Prime Fresh in the domestic market, if you can please tell us.
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity. Good evening, Avinash. Okay, let me just go back to the brief, evolution of Prime Fresh.
Correct.
So in 2007, me and my elder brother were sitting across in Ahmedabad. So I used to keep regularly traveling to his house, and he told me that, Hiren, I feel that fruit vegetable supply chain business is looking extremely promising and it is highly unorganized. And I have been working with Subixa Retail, and I have been setting up a lot of retail outlets in Ahmedabad. I have been heading the F&B division, and I feel that the sector is lot unorganized and there is lot to do. So it was more of a friendly, brotherly call, and I like the idea. I like the person because he has got prior 15 years of experience in operations, sales, FMCG, Marico Industries, and all that. So I said, fine, okay, let's make a small business plan and let's start. So that's how the journey started in 2007.
Okay. I think nice to know. Hirenji, now
Yeah.
tell me one thing, like, if you could tell to our viewers, what are the products we deal in? When you say vegetable products, food processing, vegetable products, what are the products where we are largely dominant? And,
Yeah.
which are the key customer segment? Like, are we selling it directly to the customer, or is there a B2B kind of distribution platform which we have developed? Sir,
Sure.
थोड़ा बहुत इसके बारे में बोलिए.
Definitely. Sure. So before going on to the product, let me just quickly give you a brief of what our business is. So Prime Fresh Limited is basically into two businesses. One is service business. We call it third party logistics, warehousing, ripening of fruits, storage of fruits, distribution of certain products, and also manpower supply in some cases. So that business is around 10 to 12% of total turnover in FY 27, 26. More or less, it remains in this band over the last 3 years. It will remain in a range of 10 to 12%.
Okay.
The second core business for us is fruit vegetable supply chain business. So we call it procurement, processing, and placement of fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
So under this model, we procure fruits and vegetables from farmers, our own collection centers, local area aggregators. We have some large suppliers, local mandis, national mandis, and also we keep doing some small trial error on contract farming, joint venture farming, etc. Now, coming to the second piece of F&B is processing. So basically, there is something called pre-harvest research, farmer meetings, field visit, farm evaluation, farm valuation, and farm deal. Post that, the harvesting starts. So we have some specialized harvesting team for different crops in different areas. Then there is a sorting, grading, and packing. So all this we call it a process.
Okay.
Right. So you have procurement, you have process, and then you have a placement. So to explain about where our products are sold. So we have multiple sales channel. We call it a omni-channel sales strategy we follow because the sector is still unorganized a lot. It was extremely important to be present across multiple channels as and when they offer opportunity. And we also have our own program of building market share in certain channels. So coming back to the primary channel today is our e-commerce and modern trade customers. So in modern trade, we have more retail, Reliance Retail, Ratnadeep in Hyderabad, Star Bazaar. In e-commerce, we have Zepto, Swiggy, and a couple of other clients like Blinkit, Zomato, and all that. So this channel has been growing pretty well for us between 21 and 25 at over 35% CAGR.
Okay.
Maybe in some year it could have grown 50% also.
Okay.
In the last 3-4 years, as we were growing with this channel, we also realized that still this market is at least 85% plus unorganized. And you need to be in general trade, you need to be in APMC trade, and you also need to deal with a lot of food processors and Horeca guys. So
Yeah.
that's the another set of channels we have been building, which is we call it national mandi supply chain,
Okay.
general trade, where these general traders could supply to anyone, including modern trade or local traders or mandis, or they could be exporters, etc.
Okay.
And finally, Horeca. So
Yeah.
we haven't been able to got any major breakthrough in Horeca, but yes, we have been putting a lot of efforts to build that channel.
Okay.
So now coming back to the product, your main question, honestly. So we have about 9 core product portfolio in our fruit vegetable supply chain business. It is onion, it is potatoes, tomatoes, pomegranate, sweet lime, orange, banana, and couple of other products.
Okay.
Apart from these 9-10 products, based on seasonality
Ah,
and based on certain opportunities, we keep adding products time to time, but all of them form about 15 to 20% of the total F&B sales. So I'm
okay.
not going deep into that, but these are the 9 products which contributes close to 85% of our F&B sales.
Okay. Well understood, Hirenbhai. Hirenji, now tell me one thing that, sir, what is the opportunity? You said 80% of the industry is still unorganized. Sir, market कितना बड़ा हो सकता है अगले 2-3 साल के लिए? What is the kind of growth which our company can enjoy? हम लोग ने इतना काम किया है. अगले 2-3 साल में what is your assessment that what is the runway available for us to grow in the next say 2 to 3 years? If you can give a small flavor of the market and
Sure.
how we are planning to grow.
Sure, absolutely. So we believe that this business is getting organized at a little lower pace in the last 10 years, but it is expected to get far more organized in the coming 8-10 years, first of all. We think that today the trade, which is around 80-85% organized, could get probably organized to the extent of 30-35% in the next 8 years. Now, this organized, market share, if you were to put some ballpark numbers, right? So currently, F&B industry is around 28 lakhs crore as we speak, the rough cut ballpark number, back of the envelope numbers, right? Now, if you say that this industry with the value addition, premiumization, packing, branding, and logistics and everything coming in place, it's getting organized at certain pace, and it even if we assume only 30% of the industry is organized, and if we look at the size of the market at around 40 lakhs crore in next 7-8 years, then we are talking of a 12-13 lakhs crore industry size, which is an opportunity for all the organized, professionally run F&B entrepreneurs like us.
Yeah.
We have been one of the oldest and the longest, player in the industry. We have seen a lot of startups coming and going. We have observed that over the years, in the 8th or the 9th year, most of the startups, kind of tend to, die. So I think with bigger muscle power, bigger money power, a lot of startups have come in the last 5-6 years,
Correct.
and many of them have raised deep money, 200-500 crore or 3,000-5,000 crore also in some cases. So we believe that the trend in the F&B getting organized is accelerating.
Okay.
And a lot of players like us who have built a solid supply chain, solid backend in the last 10-15 years will always be a backbone to this startup as well as this modern trade e-commerce.
Okay.
Over and above, if you see, there is a lot of thirst by government on exports, and F&B exports is expected to rise, and India has a potential to become feeder to the world. Now, if you also add the Horeca and if you add, food processors, then the opportunity is further getting, larger. So
Okay.
in my opinion, looking at this 12 and a half, 13 lakhs crore number is quite easily possible. And India needs at least 100, 200 prime fresh to cater to domestic and global markets.
Okay.
And there will be many companies in the next 10 years, like what happened to the milk industry in the last 30 years,
Correct.
where these companies are having turnover of 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 crore type of a sales numbers. Because this, if you look at milk versus F&B, you have many SKU in F&B, and milk is a one product, and then there is a kind of value addition to that product.
Exactly.
So broadly, I think it's a very interesting time, and government is also working very hard at state level and central level. They want to uplift the farmers. They want to make sure that the consumer inflation, the agri inflation also comes under control. The fertilizer chemical usage also comes down. There is a more usage of residue-free products, less chemical and pesticides are used. So all this coming to play, I think there is interesting time ahead.
Yeah. I think very nicely put out, Hiranji. Hiranji, now you were talking about supply logistics. Tell me one thing, that when we source the raw material, you said you got arrangements directly with the farmers, you got a lot of, some, arrangement by, say, contract farming. So normally, how is the raw material supply ensured? Like, that, monsoon has started late this year. But typically,
Yeah,
how do you ensure that the raw material comes in time? Because this is very critical for our business. तो सर इसके बारे में बताइए कि
yeah,
रॉ
absolutely.
मटेरियल सोर्सिंग कैसे आप प्लान करते हो?
Very interesting question, and I think this is the only thing which will make sure that you grow going ahead into the next decade. So we call it a F&B sourcing and operation supply chain ecosystem. So that's how we first define our model as far as sourcing raw material part is concerned. Now, what is it? So we have, as I said, we have our own collection centers. So these collection centers are set up based on season, based on product opportunities, and based on certain geographical areas where these products are expected to be harvested in a particular quarter or particular set of month or period.
So,
So we have pomegranate collection centers, onion collection centers, vegetable collection centers. Then we have seasonal collection centers like orange, grapes, and all that. So collection centers play a very vital role as far as securing the raw material supply chain. Now,
exactly.
what we do at collection centers, we basically try to connect with nearby farmers. We try to connect with local area aggregators. We put up a team, we put up a small infrastructure, and then you visit farms. Some small marginal farmer bring material to your collection center. So that's the first part of the raw materials security and supply chain. The second part is that there are a lot of aggregators who have passion in their business, who have a good family background, good reputation. They have their own land. So we go and invest in these aggregators. We put
Okay.
up infrastructure like, sheds, warehouses. We provide certain packing materials. We provide labor, sorting, grading team, supervisors, quality control team, and our own in-house internal process of how to run these sourcing operations. The
Okay.
third is we have a very large set of suppliers who have got already existing infrastructure, mandi license. They are themselves farmers. They have their own farmer groups, right? And then there is another team at Prime who keeps visiting farms every day from morning 8 to evening 8. These teams call it a farm team. They visit farmers and they visit every farm. They evaluate the farm, they register the farm, and then they make the farm deal slip. They offer the price to the farmer. The deal slip is signed, and that availability of material from all these sources is being tagged to the demand team, and that's how the whole sourcing ecosystem keeps working on an auto mode. So we
Okay.
have managers, we have supervisors, we have executives, field teams, and this all team every day works on sourcing and building the entire ecosystem to make sure that we always have a higher supply visibility,
Hmm.
higher supply connect, so that whenever there is a demand, I'm able to immediately fulfill it.
Okay.
To give an example, we have built a capacity of 250,000 tons of sourcing from all 4 5 channels of sourcing,
Okay.
and our last year's sales is around 65,000 tons.
Oh,
So if I keep growing 10 15% in terms of adding my bandwidth of sourcing operations, then raw material availability is never a challenge. Anyway, it is a fragmented market and
correct.
it is a unorganized business. So you need to keep organizing this. So that's how the raw material is planned.
No, understood. Hiranji, now tell me on the sales side, when you do business with all these retail malls, with all these B2B kind of customers, सर नॉर्मली प्राइसिंग कैसे वर्क होता है? लाइक इज इट डायनेमिक प्राइसिंग की प्रोडक्ट का प्राइस, रॉ मटेरियल प्राइस बढ़ गया तो थोड़ा सा मार्जिन बढ़ के आप कोट करते हो, या यू हैव एनी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट अरेंजमेंट्स मे बी फॉर द नेक्स्ट 1 year, XYZ वॉल्यूम इज एश्योर्ड टू यू एंड देन यू गेट अ फिक्स्ड प्राइस? हाउ डज इट वर्क विद दीज कस्टमर्स व्हेन यू वांट टू फाइनली प्राइस द प्रोडक्ट?
Sure. So there are a couple of different models for different channels. Generally, for all large B2B model, wholesale and semi-wholesale model, there is a clear back-to-back model where you have a sourcing price, operation cost, you have a logistic cost, you have expected perishability priced in, whether it is a transit weight loss or a rejection because of in transit issue on the quality. So all this operational cost and product cost are added with the transport and the company cost, and there is a cost plus pricing formula, which is a most prevailing methodology.
Okay.
In some customers, you have to give a weekly price. Okay.
Okay.
And particularly in fruits and in a multiple SKU when you supply to a one customer and you have a weekly contract. So you try to project the supply, cost of supply, all other parameters, and
Okay.
you quote to your customer for the coming week,
Okay.
and that price becomes fixed for that 1 week.
Okay.
Now, when you price these things, you put all variable into that, and then if there is exceptional volatility, then there is a two-way negotiation, and it
Okay.
gets sorted out.
Okay.
The third part you said contracts. So there are customers like Horeca, 5 stars, 7 stars, where you have to have a 3 month, 6 month, or sometime 1 year contract. They allow you to build in that volatility. They allow you to build in that cost of operation and quality related issues, rejection issues, and accordingly the 1 year price also fixed for some of the products with some of the customer. Though it is hardly 1-2% of our sales.
Fine. Understood. So now tell me one thing, like typically हमारा धंधा क्या rolling business आता है, every month you get so that you can decide how you take a particular product based on the season. So is there any concept like rolling business आता रहता है या you know what the customer wants in which month? अभी इतने time तक हम लोग business कर रहे हैं, so we know exactly what is in demand. So how does the company
Right.
plan its production schedule? सर हम लोग production यानी
Yeah.
sourcing करने के बाद decide कैसे करते हैं? कस्टमर हमको बताता है
Very
या हम
interesting
थोड़ा
question.
प्लानिंग करते हैं?
Very interesting question. So yes, as of now, as you know that this is a B2B business, you have multiple channel partners, and you are in touch with every partners through sales channel and sales team members at different locations. We sell most of the product across 10 large big town for modern trade e-commerce. We sell across 90 APMCs across 19 states. So we have a sales team who is in touch with customers, and they have that demand sheet projections from customers also, and we also provide them supply availability. So it's an ongoing practice of quotes which takes place on a daily basis, and then those quotes are accepted, approved, confirmed, and then there is a back-to-back farmer deal or a supplier deal or a collection deal is confirmed.
Okay.
And over the time, in some products, because of the last history of 10-15 years of data, we know that, okay, this month generally you have a very high demand for onion or pomegranate, and this month you have a very low demand. So
Yeah.
accordingly, our capital, our people, and our operations in the field are fungible. So we
Okay.
move these resources as per the expected
Correct.
trend for certain product. And
Okay.
of course, we try to go to customers and take their projections for the next month. So
Okay.
this is a general standard practice that with most of your corporate customers, you
Okay.
get advance planning from them, and
Okay.
they give you that, okay, July we are planning so much pomegranates or so much onions,
Yeah.
so much potato.
Correct.
So and then you try to build in a percentage of that which you could end up getting business from them, and accordingly you align your backend systems.
Okay. No, understood. I think nicely put out by you, Hirenji. Hirenji, now tell me one thing, like typically in terms of the differentiation which you have developed, like इतने साल की track record आपने maintain की है, you know the business in out. Tell us one thing that there are many others also who might be doing the same business, but as compared to other players in the market, how are we different in terms of quality, in terms of execution, in terms of service? Two, three things if you can tell us that why we are preferred more by the customers and why our business is growing. दो three reasons अगर आप बताएंगे that will be helpful.
Okay. The first thing is we are one of the only national supply chain partner with most of our customers. For example, you are a customer in Lucknow or a Siliguri or a Dindigul or a Tamil Nadu, Chennai or somewhere, right? There are many customers who have got multiple presence. Like for example, Blinkit or a Zepto or a Swiggy has got 10 locations where they want this supply. Now, they want to deal with a national supply chain partner.
Correct.
So we have that capability, that distribution centers, that sales team across many cities. Similarly, we have at the back end, we operate across 90 districts of Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, UP, and some states of South for sourcing of fruits and vegetables. To give you an example, but let's say pomegranate. Now we are operating across 19 pomegranate build in Maharashtra, 6 build in Rajasthan, and about 4 built in Gujarat. We are also building some of the built in Karnataka as well. So if you are my customer and if you want pomegranate around the year, because I can supply you pomegranate around the year because I have got multiple sources from multiple agri belt and multiple state. So
Right.
that's the first USP we have.
Okay.
Second, because traditionally this business is run by local area entrepreneurs and local area aggregators or a local suppliers, right, in local mandi. Not everyone has got that large capacity to give credit or large capacity to
Correct.
invest in farmers or FPOs or sales teams upfront and end up building that large sales order book and also the execution. So that's the second thing. Third thing, I think as we are focusing on the backward integration, we are getting into farming through our subsidiary company. We are also getting into joint venture farming and managed farming. This gives a very strong visibility for my customer that I can show them that these are my farm. From
Yeah.
this, I am going to supply mango in April. From this farm, I'm going to supply mango in May. So I'm able to put on record. I'm able to give them the confidence about the supply assurance. The biggest point, which for my customer is that if there is an issue at the farm level in, let's say, Aurangabad, then I have got my collection center somewhere in Nasik near Aurangabad. If I have got issue in collection center and the farm level, then I have my local aggregator in, say, Ahmednagar or let's say Srigonda. So I
Correct.
have got multiple options to make sure that I will be able to fulfill the demand for which I have taken the order. So it's more about an assurance. It's more about a quality. It's more about multiple options which we have built. And I think your ability to supply across country. So because that level of your operational bandwidth, logistic bandwidth, storage bandwidth, packing material bandwidth, all these which you have created and built over, as I said, all close to 90 districts. So this is what differentiates Prime Fresh from many other supply chain partners.
I think very nicely put out. Hirenji, now
Yes.
one question which I wanted to ask you is little more macro. There is some news about this Nashik CDP project. Basically where
G.
basically our NHB has also approved it for food processing unit. Sir, इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा अगर if you can tell us, in what way we can benefit and how it will actually benefit the entire industry. Sir, please tell us.
Right. So National Horticulture Board of India has come out with a program called Cluster Development Program,
Yeah.
where they are asking entrepreneurs and companies like us to put up, project under NHB CDP scheme. Now, what is this scheme? So this scheme says that, okay, you have to have an integrated model of operation. You have to be in production. You have to be into marketing, logistics, retailing, exports, and food processing as well. But how it works? So they are saying that, okay, we want to make sure that our farmers get the benefit and consumer get the benefit. So agri inflation should be under control, and the farmer should get the best benefit of the subsidies and the best benefit of the price. So they say there are two components. One is IA, implementing agency, which we are, and then there is a farmer component. So
Okay.
you invest in certain farmer groups in certain areas. You make sure that they get the best benefit of the government subsidies and the schemes which are existing, operating, available. There is some portion which you have to operate, manage, and guide, and make sure that your farmers get the right seeds, right quality of pesticides, fungicides. There is a reduced consumption of fertilizers, water. So you have to invest in the entire agronomy system.
Okay.
That's called pre-production.
Okay.
In production, you are involved right from post your land preparation to your pruning to fruiting to harvesting level, and
Hmm.
then you have to link this production market to the markets. So whether you are doing retailing, exports, everything is allowed.
Okay.
So under this program, you have to enroll certain number of farmers. You have to set up some retail outlets in the cluster which you are going to set up. And you also have to make sure that you have farmer training centers. For that, they are providing subsidy to Prime Fresh.
Okay.
You can put up a large agri infrastructure, post-harvest management infrastructure.
Okay.
There also they are providing a subsidy. So this project is not complementary to our existing business model.
Okay.
It makes sure that we are able to quickly scale up from current model where we have to put entire resources from our pocket.
Hmm.
With this project, we will be able to easily get bank support, NHB grant support, and our contribution will fall to, say, let's say 50% compared to 100% in the
Okay.
current business model which
Okay.
we are trying to scale.
Okay. Understood. Hirenji,
In
now,
terms of
Yeah.
In terms of journey of this CDP, we are very at a last stage of getting approval. We have
Oh,
been working on this project for last 14 months. We have got the land acquired. We have got the bank sanctions taken. Our EOI was accepted. Our DPR is accepted. Our presentations are completed. Our team is in place. Our farmer groups are in place. We have already enrolled FPOs also. FPO capacity built up is also on track. So I think we are hopeful that maybe in the next 1 month we should be able to get the final approval and start the project.
fine. Hirenji, now let's come to the financial question, which is very important, from an investor standpoint. We have seen very good numbers for FY26, 274 crores top line, 14 crores PAT, which was last year 9 crores. Sir, what was the main reason for this jump in profitability? Was it basically because of both value and volume? दोनों से benefit मिला आपको, volume भी बढ़ा और value भी आपको अच्छी मिली. So what was the key reason for this improvement?
Right. So primary reason for FNB business growth was definitely volumes. As you know that we have been investing very aggressively in the back-end supply chain for last 5 years. And now that we are getting the benefit of the higher volume available from our
Correct.
farmers or aggregators, and that higher availability is being marketed to the national level. So that's the first point. The second point is that we had a very good traction in our service business where we could get bigger volume opportunity, and some component of our cost structure was fixed, and hence you could amortize fixed expenses over larger volumes. The thirdly, because we have been trying to add couple of new products and new categories, new geographies, right? So that has also helped us to grow.
Oh, very good. Sir, nice to know that. Now, sir, we want to ask you another question, which is very fundamental to our business. See, working capital is a very important element for our business. I mean, we all
Yeah.
know that it's a tussle, working capital requirements obviously grow as your business grows. But, sir, any improvement we are planning in the working capital management, say, over the next 1, 2 years? Because, once the cash flow start, the market will also start looking at your company more seriously because number तो अच्छे आ ही रहे हैं. तो सर इसके ऊपर कुछ इनिशिएटिव मैनेजमेंट कर रहे हैं?
Bilkul, bilkul. First of all, let me give you a slight background of working capital cycle and reason for a little wicked working capital cycle in the last 3-4 years. We have been trying to grow at a very higher rate. To grow at this higher rate, we have been advancing to farmers or local area aggregators or some of the large suppliers. We have been helping them put up certain infrastructure also in their books. We have been increasing our inventory level to make sure that there is just in time order can be served. And of course, when you want to grow fast, when you are geographically expanding, the sector which is unorganized, you're dealing with uneducated people, you end up making some mistakes, and which we have. So we have some legacy debtors, we have some slow-moving debtors, we have some non-moving debtors, and as a result of that, our working capital cycle has been impacted. And we are very conscious to it. We are very aware about it. So as regard to debtors, we have taken a good amount of legal actions and precautions, and we expect some recovery from there. The secondly, for the future business execution, we have built our credit evaluation and client credit exposure sheet model. Under this model, our commercial team, our sales team, and our compliance team sits across for evaluating each of clients. That's just like how it happens in the bank. So we have about 28 parameters under which the detail has to be provided. And then finally, a detailed KYC, a detailed sale purchase agreement. In some cases, PDC also taken. And in some cases, security deposit check also taken. So going forward, we will make sure that this, mistakes what have been incurred in the last 4-5 years in terms of, slow moving debtor or non-moving debtor is addressed completely fully. So you have to make sure that you don't have delinquencies in the coming, growth cycle. Maybe for 1 or 2 or 3 quarters, you go slow, you grow slow, fine. But you have a more solid growth, which is like, not that you don't have to write off. We have in the past also a bad debt written off. So this is one thing. Inventory, because we expanded multiple locations in the last 5 years, you had an expansion in inventory. So now location lead expansion at both selling point and at sourcing point is not that aggressively chased, but we want to make sure that we grow the existing location only. So again, you don't have to hold inventory. Just a minute, I will have water. So you don't have to worry about now inventory because we will not increase our inventory beyond the current range. On the credit side, which we were giving as an advance to farmers, suppliers, aggregators, that portion also has played out pretty well for us. And now there is a huge confidence built in the supply chain partners. So I am very optimistic that maybe somewhere in FY28, what you see that we don't have creditors in our books hardly. So this creator, could also be building our business because there is that goodwill, that credibility, that reputation is built at the supply chain network. So going forward, 3, 4 ways where working capital cycle can substantially improve in a phase-wise manner. One is, of course, your recovery. Second is your better credit control for the future growth. Third, your 100% control on inventory, which you don't need to increase because of your expansion. Fourth, you will start getting credit in the medium term, which is like next 4 to 8 quarters, a lot of new customers, particularly on the global buyers or exporters, when you market your integrity, your credibility, your track record, they trust you and they want to give advance also because it's a critical component of supply
Correct.
chain.
Exactly.
So a time will come where my customer also start giving advance instead of long
Exactly.
working capital cycles. But yes, in 2 or 3 segments, particularly the exporters, the Horeca, and the food processors,
Correct.
you might have a little longer working
Exactly.
capital cycle.
Sure.
But overall, there will be a lot of improvement, as I said.
I think nice to hear that, Hirenji, and I think please accept my best wishes. We had a very good conversation, and I'm quite sure our investors will also be very happy that we got a very frank and a very clear interview from your side. Please accept my best wishes to you and your management team.
Thank
Sir,
you.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.